Hello to the listeners. I am Isabel Pérez and I am an English teacher and I teach FOL, F-O-L in English. I have prepared some notes about employment or labor law for you. But before that, let me introduce a very important person in this institute. What's your name?
My name is Evelyn, and I am the language assistant of English in La Rosaleda, here in Malaga.
Where did you come from?
I come from New Zealand, but I have been in Andalusia 3 years. My first year was in a small village in Cádiz, teaching English to children, and this is now my second year here in La Rosaleda, and I'm having a fantastic time, thanks to the people here.
Gorgeous, thank you very much. She's going to ask me some questions about employment law that I hope I can give the best answers.
Of course. Let's get started. My first question is, can you give me a definition of law?
Yes, law is a set of rules that govern our society.
Okay. There are many different laws in Spain: European law, international law, criminal law, employment law, and so on. Please, can you tell us what is employment law?
Yes, employment law is a set of rules that govern the relationships between employers and workers. It is very important to know what it is about, and employment law is about rights and duties of workers and employers.
Okay. Which are the three main pillars of principles? Let me say that again. Which are the three main pillars or principles of the labor law?
Yes, you say pillars, principles, and we are talking about the basis of a building, as if we were talking about the basis of a building, and therefore there are three, as you said: justice, legal security, and common goods. Justice, to give a definition of it, it's quite difficult, because if you search on the net, you will find several thousands of definitions. But for me, it is quite simple. You play, you pay. Legal security, people and citizens should be treated in the same way, without any kind of arbitrariness. That means to be treated equally, with the same law, with the same process. And common goods are the values of our society.
Okay. In the Spanish law, we can distinguish between formal sources and material sources. Please, what is the difference between them, and could you give us some examples of each one?
Yes, if we talk about formal sources, we are thinking of the different rules in Spain. For example, the Spanish Constitution, the international treaties, the European directive, an ordinary law, and the very important collective agreements. If we talk about material sources, we are thinking of the institutions that make those rules, like Parliament, government, the European institutions, and so on.
Okay. So I think this is the last question. Finally, we have been talking about rules, Parliament, government, and judges. One way or another, we have been discussing about the separation of powers. Can you tell us something about it?
Yes, you said separation of powers. That means there are more than one. In fact, we have the legislative power, which is the Parliament, Congress, and Senate. The executive power, which is our government, the President and his ministers, and finally, the judicial power, which is the judges and courts.
Okay. Well, that's all for now in our first video. I hope that you understand a little bit more about law and also help with the pronunciation.
Oh, yes, but before you go, please, would you be so kind to read some of the vocabulary, some of the words we think are very important.
All right. Law, employment, rights, duties, workers, employers, pillars, justice, executive, legal security, common goods, values, rules, institution, separation, powers, legislative, judicial,